Shabbat Shalom, my friends. Welcome to our Torah studying community. A special shout out to those who are currently participating in the Alpha Epsilon Pi International Convention in Las Vegas. Right before I left that convention to return to LA, a close friend wondered why I wasn't doing my weekly taping from Las Vegas. It would have been a great teaching moment for the more than 500 undergraduates from 6 countries who were gathered there. We could have done Torah teaching Oprah style directly from Sin City. And my thoughtful response to my friend was, oops, didn't think of that. Maybe next August. Every Shabbat is special, but this truly is a very special Shabbat. It is called Shabbat Nachamu, the Sabbath of consolation, immediately following Tisha B'Av, during which we read from chapter 40 of the book of Isaiah, Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami, comfort, comfort my people. It's in the command. The leaders of the Jewish community are commanded that despite the tragedies that have befallen Jerusalem, they should proclaim God's majesty, and God's love for us will endure forever. Do not despair, O Israel. God's love is everlasting. These words of hope, of consolation, have sustained us, my friends, for more than 2,500 years, and I suspect that they will continue to do so for many centuries to come. The Sedra of this week is Ve'et Hanan, beginning with Deuteronomy chapter 3, verse 23. My first theological question for today is, why is it that this Sedra that happens to include the Shema and the V'ahavta is placed in the middle of the heat of summer in this hemisphere, when there are usually no B'nai Mitzvah and service attendance is unusually small? Some classical Reform congregations once literally changed the order of the reading of Torah on Shabbat morning so that Leviticus and its sacrifices would be read in the middle of the summer, and the book of Deuteronomy could have been read in April or May. But alas, such changes were viewed as shattering Jewish unity, and those changes are no more. Despite my own embrace of Jewish unity and my profound respect for the tradition, I sometimes daydream about how we might institute a fix in this process. If you have any thoughts on this, please share them with us. We need good ideas. Well, here it is. Moses' last day, ready to go up to Mount Nebo and die. He begins by admitting that he had pleaded with God to let him at the very least live long enough to actually cross the Jordan River, to actually set foot in the promised land. 40 years of wandering, what harm could it do to God's plan? After so much effort on Moses' part, a little flexibility from God would have gone a long way. Come on, God, give me a break. It was not to be. God turns Moses down, according to the tradition, time and time again. The Midrash is filled with stories about the various ways in which Moses pressed his case. But the answer was unshakable. No, it's not going to happen. Miriam is dead, Aaron is dead, and soon, Moses, you will be on the top of Mount Nebo, and you will be dead as well. One wonderful midrash has God trying to make things a little bit easier for Moses, to show him that even though he would die with his mission incomplete, his influence would last forever. Moses is given an opportunity through a mystical vision to sit in a schoolhouse as Rabbi Akiva was teaching Torah. One of the students asked the great Rabbi, how do you know that your interpretation of the Torah is correct? And Akiva is said to have responded, I learned from Moses at Sinai. Moses was comforted and went about his way. So Moses planned, pleaded, prayed, protested, but to no avail. My friends, I do not believe that life is infinitely precious. I've come to that very personal realization, not through a long period of serious study, but rather through at least 2 circumstances from deep within my own immediate family. Sometimes, not always, maybe not often, death is by far the more moral and reasonable outcome. All of us, I'm certain, have followed the nightmare story of baby Charlie Gard, in the UK. This beautiful child was born with a devastating genetic condition, leaving him with catastrophic brain damage. Without permanent mechanical support, life was unsustainable. Even with such support, there was just the barest of hopes that Charlie would endure at best for a little while, never breathing on his own, his muscles deteriorating, his brain incapable of connecting with his world. Pope Francis intervened, stating that life is infinitely precious. President Trump intervened with a similar message. But with unanimity both in the courts and among the attending physicians, Charlie was allowed to die. In my eyes, this was a blessing of the gift of death. When is our work finished, truly finished, with nothing else left to do? That was Moses' question. When do we have no more love to share, no more love to receive? When does our life lose all capacity to bring some meaning into the lives of others? When is every breath we take just one more burden with no benediction? Do you remember these words from Fame and Alert? I'm going to sing. I'm going to live forever. I'm going to learn how to fly high. I feel it coming together. People will see me and cry. Fame. I'm going to make it to heaven, light up the sky like a flame. Fame. I'm going to live forever. Baby, remember my name. No, I apologize for that. I can see Moses doing karaoke to Fame on Mount Nebo, a place from which you can see across the Jordan to the very outskirts of Jerusalem. If there is a heaven, Moses made it there, and he certainly will live forever. Decades ago, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross taught us about what she saw to be the 5 stages of grieving, mourning, loss. Her work, as transformative as it was, has undergone modifications, of course, over time. But I've always found myself agreeing with Kubler-Ross when she described the human need to negotiate over loss. No, not now. Not here. Not this way. I don't want to give up control over the events in my life and the life of my family and my world. Not now. No. Too soon. I don't want to accept that my needs, my dreams, my goals will no longer be pursued by me. I don't want to surrender awareness about what is coming next. There are still things that I need to say, to fix, to correct, to complete. I am not ready to have a final accounting of my life posted on the Divine Facebook page. But such negotiations will always lead nowhere. We live our lives brief on the thin edge of eternity. We are victims far more often of happenstance and inadvertence than we are of careful planning. We move from negotiations to pleading, but pleading yields nothing. And if we're fortunate, we end up with acceptance. And that is why our tradition wisely teaches that we should live each day as if it were our very last day, to do what we really want to do, to hug, to embrace, to experience meaning and satisfaction and joy. Moses pleaded, V'etchanan. Then he gave his last addresses to the people, all the while knowing that by the end of that day, he would take himself up to the top of Mount Nebo and be no more. That's it. There's so much more on this topic, but that's it for today. Please hit share to help others join our community this summer. Have a great Shabbat. I'll see you next week.